Good day, dear viewers, and welcome to the Emporium of Creativity that is Butch's Resin Creations. I'm your host, Butch, and I'm here to share my latest fantastical video with you.
A southern man with steady hands, as crafty as can be.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be using the Bohemian Mask Set 1, which is this one. Set 2. And this one. And of course, set 3, which is the focal point. Then there is the Steampunk Airship, which is one of my favorites. And then of course the big one, it's called A Little Bit of Everything. This has the steampunk elements that I'm using in the piece. So of course I needed it. So anyway, this is the project for today, and so what we're going to do next is I've got a steampunk stencil, and what we're doing now is we're taking some modeling paste or texture paste or whichever kind of paste that you have, and what I'm doing is I've got a silicone brush and we're pushing the texture paste through the stencil. Kind of like watching paint dry. It can take a little while, but it's kind of important to get it to lay evenly and try to get the lines out of it if you can, but sometimes you can't always do it. So anyway, so we're just going to spread it out, and hopefully it's going to all come out alright. So hope everybody's doing alright today. This is my first voiceover for my Zuri Mold creative team presentation for the month. So I hope you enjoy it. And this Southern Texas accent doesn't disturb anybody. But you know, I don't like my voice on the videos, but other people do. They say it's calming, but that's all. It's okay. So so I'm, of course the stencil's not big enough for the whole 14 by 18 canvas, so I've had to I had another steampunk stencil, so what I did was kind of taped it off the part that I want to cover up to blend it with the first stencil, and so we're pushing the paste through it. And just kind of trying to get it even. Doesn't always work. Sometimes my OCD kicks in and I have to play with it for a little while. It's, you know, but it's just me. So, and then what we'll do is take that same stencil and I flipped it over on its backside. So, kind of get a mirrored image on both ends, kind of match up. So, it's real important for me anyway to have as much symmetry as possible. So Again, that's just me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you know, it is what it is. So we're just going to push some more texture paste through it. And always, if you right after you get through with your stencils, it's very important that you take and put them in a sink of water or wash them off real quick, because once that modeling paste dries and it gets into the stencil, you could ruin it real good. So it's real important that you wash your stencils after each use, and then so that way they last quite a bit of time. So anyway, next what we're going to do is, this is heavy black gesso. And what I'm doing is I'm covering the whole board in heavy black gesso. What it does is it kind of gives the stencil a dimension on the canvas. Of course, you know, don't want to get paint all over the place. I should have done this at first, but you know, hey. So right now, like I said, all I'm going to do is just continue this, and we're going to cover this canvas in heavy black gesso and let it dry. Also, sorry about the camera. I'm still trying to get used to this. You know, I've got to get some better equipment for my videos and stuff. I'm still kind of new at this, even though I've been doing it for a little while, but I've just now started picking up doing videos again. And this creative team that I'm on has really got me excited, and I'm just, so I guess I have to invest in some better equipment. So off and on throughout the whole video, it's going to look like it's going to try to focus and stuff, so just give it a second. It'll eventually get back. So again, like I said, you can see is the black gesso gives it a dimension. Well, guess what? I started doing the coloring. This is a kind of like a dry brush technique, but unfortunately it didn't come out the way I was looking. Too many streaks, too many, just kind of messy, so it wasn't happy. So all I did was I went back over and painted it and started it all over again. So now this time, as you can see, it's a whole lot better. So like I said, basically it's just I have a stippling brush or pouncer or whatever you call it, and basically it's just putting paint in a plate or whatever, and then dabbing the pouncer in the paint and kind of just kind of dry brushing it. And there'll be streaks like that sometimes, but again, black gesso hides everything. So what you do is, if you don't like the way it's looking, then all you're going to do is go back over it with the black gesso, kind of highlight what you need. And so, as you can see, I've kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I used True Red acrylic paint, Heritage Brick, and Burnt Orange for the background. It's kind of like a rusty kind of a background. I wanted something muted for the background, because this piece is really detailed and will be very, very bright. So of course, like I said, so I just wanted a muted background. So right now, so these are some of the elements I'm using, and I'm just, like I said, I'm taking a brush and we're doing another dry brush technique. This is a metallic wax old silver, and so basically I do all the elements in old silver. I like to, when I'm putting together my composition, I like to paint the elements as I go, instead of, there's some people, when they do their composition, they'll glue it all down, go back and black gesso everything, and then start painting, doing their thing. And so I like to do it the long way, hard way, I guess, is I paint my composition as I go. And so those are the main pieces of the layout so far of the composition. So I'm doing some more steampunk gears, again with the old silver. So basically a dry brush is just, like I said, it's a dry brush. It's, you put some paint, or in this case metallic wax, then you kind of rub some of it off, and then you start painting. That way you get a good detail on the pieces. So here I am. I'm going I laid it out ahead of time and like the way I like it. So now we're just going to start laying out the composition. This is a long drawn out process, and so because like I said, I'm not really OCD, but I have to try to, it has to be kind of balanced. So I do spend a little bit of extra time, and this video started out being an hour, and after I cut some of it and sped it up and everything, I got it down to basically almost 35 minutes. So I appreciate everybody showing up today and watching. I hope you stick around to the end. You won't be disappointed. It's an amazing piece. I have outdone myself, and I think you'll think so too. So basically what we're going to do is just, like I said, we're just going to watch the composition go together. And like I said, I'll finish part of it, and then I'll paint some of it. And then after that, we'll just keep going as it progresses along, and I'll explain everything as something new comes up. So just enjoy the process, and I'll be right back. Well, alright, so I've laid out the composition so far, so I'm liking it. So what I'm doing now is I've got a patina blue, a metallic wax called patina blue. I'm trying to basically do the cogs and the pieces in rusts, patinas, green, blue. I have a patina green. So we're just, again, it's just a dry brush, and kind of different. I never have a color scheme when I start my projects. The projects just evolve as I'm doing them. So I just pick a color that I think I might like, and I'll paint it on. And if I don't like it, well, I can paint over it and find something that does. So it's kind of like a process. And so basically what we're doing now is we're still doing, this is a charcoal black. So here we go. I'm laying out some more of the composition. So these are some leaves, clusters of leaves and things. I added some butterflies to the top. There's the focal point, the Bohemian Mask set 3. He's amazing. He, she, I don't know if it's a pronoun or what, but these molds are highly detailed, and I love them so much that, like I said, the detail in these things are so nice, and the metallic wax picks up every detail. And so I just love these molds. I'll try to list them all in the comments in the description box, so if you decide you need to go, you can't do without them. The Zuri Molds website is full of many molds that you'll love to get your hands on, so please feel free to go over and look at them, see what you can find. So again, we're just putting some more elements. I use a heavy body gel to glue them down. This is about the only thing that I found that really holds all of the elements when you glue them down. Hot glue will hold it, but if it gets hot, it will melt off and some of your pieces will fall off. So it's really good if you can find a heavy body gel to glue it down with. So now what we're doing is, this is one of the Zuri metallic waxes. Bora Bora. It's a kind of a bluish green, I guess. I went ahead and the flowers, roses, I did in a red flame metallic wax, and again the Bora Bora for the leaves. So now what I'm doing is we're painting the mask. So, and again, this paint's a little bit more heavy because I was trying to, you know, of course, like I said, the color is really nice, and so I went with a vibrant gold, and so we're painting the face, and then of course on the top where the headdress is, part of the head, the forehead or whatever is. So we're doing the vibrant gold. But I will tell you a little different. At the very end, when I had finished the piece, I was looking at it, and that gold was just really too bright for what I was really intentionally going to. So what I did was, at the very end, after I finished everything, I changed it to a rose gold, which has got a little rosy pink to it, and it looked more like flesh, and so we changed it. So again, I'm doing the electric violet on the headdress pieces, I guess. I don't know what some of this stuff is called. But it's a dry, you know, I'm still, like I said, I'm just dry brushing. The electric violet is another metallic wax I like to use. You don't have to be heavy-handed, and that's a makeup sponge that I'm rubbing the brush on. It's kind of like an eyeshadow brush sponge. So you scrape it in there, and you kind of, so you basically are cleaning the brush each time that you use a different color, so it doesn't start looking muddled and all those colors kind of start running together. So like I said, we're just kind of putting some, I'm adding some accents to some of the pieces. Yeah, there we go. So I got a little bit closer so everybody can see what's going on. Now I'm using my fingers. Sometimes fingers can be better than brushes, because basically the finger just can hit the highlights of the mold, and as you can see, the detail in this mold is really good. So we're going to do some more electric violet eyeshadow for the eyes. As you can see, I added a steampunk clock or stopwatch or a watch to the top, and so we're going to go back and we're going to hit the butterflies with the patina blue and the patina green. As you can see, the details in these molds is just amazing, and so it's just, like I said, I can't, these things are just amazing. Words sometimes are hard for me sometimes, especially these voiceovers. I'm not much into waffling or talking very much, but you know, we do try. So I'm just giving the bodies of the butterflies a little silver, a little old silver. And we're going to do a little bit of gold on some of the highlight places of the butterflies. And that wax color is Phoenix Flame, I believe. Alright, so what we got, some, what you call them, scissors. Scissors with wings. So I'm using the rose gold for the metal parts of the scissors. And we're doing some of the rose gold again. We're doing it on the ornate pieces on the handles. And then we're going to use some of that Phoenix Blaze. And my apologies, the color is Phoenix Blaze. I just love this. It's kind of like a red orange, but it's amazing. Zuri Wax Trio is just amazing. So basically, like I said, I'm using my fingers, and sometimes I get a little liner brush to get more closer to the details against the ridges. So we're just putting some Phoenix Blaze on the wings, I guess, if you want to call them wings. And then I'm going to do a little bit of Phoenix Blaze on the ornate on the handles. So that's two of them, and then the big pair of scissors. Sorry about that. Sometimes I keep forgetting to look at the screen to see if I'm in frame or not. So sometimes I'm coloring and you can't see it. But you know, I try to watch. Sometimes I don't always get it, but we're getting there. So if you've hung in there this long, I really, really appreciate it. Sometimes, you know, it can get drug out, but I enjoy the process so long. I mean, I really love the process. And to all my subscribers, I can't thank you enough for being here and subscribing to my videos. The likes, comments, and the shares, it's just amazing the kind of response I've been getting, and I can't thank you enough for being here. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So we're almost coming to the end. We still got a little bit of time left. I've got the final piece at the top to do, the Steampunk Airship. So I'm gluing down the scissors. Again with the heavy body gel. Like I said, it's just amazing how thick that stuff is. So we're going to color the clock, the watch, with the Phoenix Blaze. And see, sometimes, like I said, fingers are just as good, and then my hands are good palettes. So you know, you never know what we're doing. And as you can see, I added little red rhinestones to the eyes and to certain parts of the elements. And I'm going to put one right in the middle of the hands of the timepiece at the top. So now we're going to start doing the final, some of the final pieces on it. What I've done is, it has feathers, and like I said, we're hanging a bunch of stuff off of off of this. So Bohemian feathers, we're doing the Bora Bora paint on the leaves, and then of course we're doing the Phoenix Blaze on the main part of the leaf. Then I'm taking the gold and doing the branches, everything that coming off of them. So like I said, basically we're just kind of finishing up some of the details. Alright, here's the Steampunk Airship. I've done this one on a journal cover a while back, so like I said, I really love this mold. So like I said, we're just taking our finger, got the red Phoenix Blaze, kind of taking my finger, and we're just kind of hitting this with the, so it picks up all the details. And we're going to go into the old silver, and I'm going to highlight a couple of the buildings to kind of give it some dimension. Just kind of said, it's just basically letting your finger do the walking, as they say. Then we're going to do the Bora Bora. Just kind of get your fingers going. Like I said, just let your fingers go, have fun. If you get a color where you don't like it, again, just take a little paintbrush, paint with some black gesso and kind of cover it up, and then let it dry, and then put some of the color back in. It's like I said, it's easy. It looks hard, but it's really not once you get used to it. So we're just finishing up a few of the details. And so what I did, like I said, I started out with the vibrant gold on the top of the balloon, and it's basically the continents of the world at the time on that airship. And so I did it in the vibrant gold to match the face of the Bohemian Mask. But again, as I said earlier, at the very end, after I had finished and before I had started taking pictures, I decided to change the color. Well, as you see, the camera decided it wanted to pop out, so you can see how messy my desk can be sometimes. But like I said, the desk of an artist can be kind of interesting. I try to keep it as organized as I can, but when I'm working, most of the time I just throw the colors everywhere, and so it does kind of look messy, but I try to keep it on camera. I try to keep it kind of clean. So like I said, so what I've done is I kind of got out of the lines. So we're going back with the black gesso, and we're kind of coloring in the areas to kind of clean it up a little bit. Again, thank you for hanging in to the very end. I cannot thank you enough for all your support, all the comments, everything that y'all have said. I'm just blown away by the response that I've been getting. So basically, I'm going to just take a little bit of, like I said, we're fixing to do some of the old silver in on the balloon and the fins of the tail, kind of drying it off there. Sometimes I get kind of crazy when I'm taking on, I take off too much paint or too much wax. So, so we just kind of, like I said, and again, I didn't see that I wasn't in frame, so please forgive me. go. Kind of slow sometimes. So we're kind of finishing up the tail. And we're going to get in the middle of the balloon, give it the detail for the balloon to give it the shape. And there will be glamour shots at the end. Again, thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you've enjoyed this process. I have really enjoyed putting this together for you. Please comment, like, share, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. It helps my channel get seen, and I can't thank you. So we're coming to the end. I'm putting the airship on. It's glued down, and so we'll clean up a little bit, and this is the finished piece. I am so blown away by how it turned out. I hope you do too. And again, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.